Hi everyone, welcome back. We are about to complete our first project, Module 1. Last week, we asked you to focus on building a 3D model of a transformative threshold. This week, you will work on refining your model. In Assignment 5, we are asking you to create a sensory and immersive experience that involves movement through space. We are inviting you to think about the senses, such as sight, hearing, or touch, and to imagine walking through a space, a threshold, where light, air, or sound plays an important role. But before we talk about your next assignment, let's look at a few examples of experiential and immersive installations. The first example is an installation called Oculus, created by Noglab and Bursa Tank, located in a historic building in Turkey. The second one is a highly acclaimed Infinity Room by Kusama. In this installation, the artist used three elements: mirrors, linear lines, and LED lights to dissolve the boundaries between the real and the imagined space. The next three installations are very important to know as they are incorporating light, air, and sound. Please check the references posted right below this lecture on Moodle. Choose one that addresses the topic that you are working on, and be prepared to refer to these installations in our online discussions. Going back to the assignment, you are designing a threshold, which means you are designing a passage for a human or a group of humans to go through. Think about human dimensions. Think about how people move, how they sit. What do they look at as they move through a space? You may want to make your own human figure model. For that, you can use clay or cardboard. You can make something very simple, as shown on the middle picture, but you can make more complex action figure if you wish. You can also buy a scaled human figure in most art supply stores. It's up to you whether you want to make your own or buy. The important thing is to pay attention to dimensions that are listed in the assignment, or if you buy a pre-made figure, make sure to select the right scale. In US, you will choose 1/2 inch equals a foot, and in countries that use metric, you will select 1:25 scale. Think about transformations. If your subject is light, you may want to focus on the transition from dark to brightly lit space, or a transition from a filtered and dappled light to an evenly distributed light. If your subject is air, think about the breathability or the movement of air. And if you are developing the concept of sound, you may want to explore different levels of sound absorption by adding more texture to the bristle or vellum, or by making the materials more or less perforated. In all cases, you may have to make some adjustments to the model that you have built in the previous assignment. And you should make sure that the person represented by a human figure model can go through the threshold. So far, we have been working with Bristol strips only. In this assignment, you can add vellum, as shown on these pictures, or larger shapes made of Bristol. Keep in mind that using vellum or Bristol is optional. It's really up to you to make the final decision. Here I'm showing a few examples of similar projects, including examples of students' work from the last semester or similar projects done by interior design students at CCA. Keep in mind that these examples are for reference only. We are only using white Bristol or vellum. For closing, let's look at the assignment. In assignment 5, you will keep developing your threshold model. We are asking you to focus on capturing the transformation of light, air, or sound. If you are working with light, you can create a transition from dark to light space, from opaque to transparent, or from uneven to evenly lit. If you are working with air, you may want to control the airflow or to develop a transition from airtight to more breathable space. If you are working with sound, you may want to work on developing a transition from a very quiet to a noisy space. Think about the atmospheric qualities of the space and the immersive experience that you are creating. We want you to develop a strategy and to think about different ways of controlling light, air, or sound. For light, you can change the spacing and the density of the Bristol strips to effectively alter how much light can go through, or you can add additional materials such vellum or Bristol. For air, making connections looser or more rigid could influence the movement of individual elements in response to the air movement. Or you can think about adding solid or perforated planes of Bristol or vellum. And for sound, creating more or less enclosed space can effectively alter the quality of the sound, or altering the material texture can change the amount of sound absorption. As you are working on your final model, make sure that the human represented by the scaled human figure model can fit inside your threshold. Watch tutorial 5. Complete the model and get ready for our final presentation. The list of final deliverables is posted under session 7. We are looking forward to seeing your work. Bye.